President Moon, to just a minute.
And the President of South Africa.
And the President of South Africa, as I said earlier.
Oh, you did?
I did not. I certainly did.
Clearly, Emma, that causing a lot of conversation here in Washington, D.C. on this Monday morning.
Yeah, busy Monday. All right, Newsmax White House correspondent Emerald Robinson, thank you.
All right, for more on this story, we have Congresswoman Nancy Mace of South Carolina joining us live here. Congresswoman, good to see you. As always, thanks so much for joining us here. The White House correspondent you just heard from announcing President Biden said he's going to hold China accountable as we continue to follow what's happening here with the NATO summit now and the G7 prior, but really didn't do anything to meet with these leaders about the origins of COVID, but he said that he's raising taxes. What is your reaction to what the president has done so far?
Well, it's perplexing and confusing. What is President Biden doing to actually hold China accountable? A verbal reprimand is nothing more than a slap on the wrist. He's even talking about punting the investigation of finding the origins of COVID-19 to the World Health Organization. And we all know the World Health Organization is accountable to China. What is he actually doing there? It's really perplexing and confusing. And watching him in these press conferences and these meetings, he's doing nothing. He's doing nothing for the American people.
The other thing that a lot of folks are looking forward to, obviously, is this, obviously, the NATO summit, but then this is ahead of the Putin meeting, something that we were ironing out of how these press conferences will take place. They will not be together. They will be separate. Here's why President Biden said he won't be holding a press conference with the Russian president.
The best way to deal with this is for he and I to meet, he and I to have our discussion. I know you don't doubt that I'll be very straightforward with him about our concerns, and I will make clear my view of how that meeting turned out, and he'll make clear how from his perspective, how it turned out. But I don't want to get into being diverted by did they shake hands, how far did they talk, who talked the most, and the rest. Now, he can say what he said the meeting was about, and I will say what I think the meeting was about.
Congresswoman, would you prefer both of these leaders to hold a joint press conference, being the fact that this president has really come out tough on Russia? It's almost like having a boxing match. Instead of getting able to watch the match, you just get to see what the fighters said about the match.
Right. It is a very awkward speech by President Biden, too. And the problem is we don't look strong right now. And when America is strong, the world is strong. The other countries around the world, you know, they want us to show strength against China and Russia, and we're just not doing it right now. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen out of a president in recent memory.
Pivoting to another topic, your home, if I understand this correctly, was vandalized with expletives on an island near Charleston, South Carolina. Take a look at this, and then I'll get your response.
Woke up this morning to my house being vandalized last night. You can see they spray painted in black past the PRO Act on the front of my house. That's my bike that one of the kids was using last night, shortly before the house got vandalized. It's very scary. They also spray painted "No Gods, No Masters, All Politicians Are Bastards" with ANTIFA markings on it.
I believe that's Daniel Island out there. I think Bishop England, private high school out there, is vandalized as well. Do you know who's responsible for doing such things? Is this cleaned up now? Do you have beefed up security? What is the latest on that story?
I absolutely have beefed up security. And in fact, I had a few cameras before all of this, and I've tripled that. I've had to triple that. I've had my concealed carry permit for a couple of months, but now I actually carry everywhere I go. Unfortunately, it doesn't feel good when you don't feel safe. And I don't even feel safe in my own home sometimes. And so it's definitely been a different environment here at the house over the last couple of weeks. My kids are just like, just chill, mommy. We're going to be okay. But the police on Friday released footage of the vandal that did Bishop England High School back in February. There was very similar graffiti done one evening at the end of February. The police have done a handwriting analysis and determined it is the same person. Unfortunately, the video and the photos that they've shown are very, very grainy. I'm hoping someone in Charleston or on Daniel Island might recognize the silhouette or the figure and give some tips to the police.
Yeah.
It's far past time for people to be held accountable for the political violence in this country. It's got to stop.
Yeah, I'm from Charleston. I used to live in Daniel Island for a little bit. I know it's even tough to get on the island. There are only so many ways you can get on. So it baffles me to see this actually happen and how that would happen in a place like Daniel Island. Before you go, I want to ask you about this. The vice president scheduled to visit your state today, Greenville, South Carolina. Kamala Harris will be there in South Carolina. She will be, I believe, promoting vaccines, getting vaccines, but she'll also be talking about voting rights, from what I understand, in South Carolina. What do you expect out of this meeting? South Carolina was a pivotal point, specifically for the Biden campaign in the past presidential election. What do you believe the vice president's messaging will be for South Carolinians today, this afternoon?
Well, if she thinks that voters' rights, if that voters are oppressed here, she can think again. We have a great system. Our state legislature and our governor. We have voter ID. We have witness signatures on absentee ballots. We did change our laws for the election in November. We did a fantastic job. There's no voter fraud here. We've done a great job of ensuring everyone who has the right to vote actually has the right to vote. And I sure wish she'd spend more time at the border right now. We have an enormous crisis at the border that she's just turning a blind eye to. And instead, 80% of Americans, 70, 80% of them, they want voter ID. These things are okay. And I'll be curious. It's so curious to see her going to the upstate of South Carolina, which is a conservative bastion up there. I'll be really curious to see what the reaction there. But I'm really proud of the way South Carolina's legislature and governor, how we have great voting laws that ensure everyone who has the legal right to vote has the opportunity to vote. And look where we are today. We've done a fantastic job with it.
That is South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace joining us live here on a Monday. Congresswoman, thanks so much. It's good to see you. Take care.
Thank you, as always. I appreciate it.
Recently, Facebook announced it will ban former President Trump's account for at least 2 years. Newsmax wants to know if you think that's the right decision. Should Facebook let Trump back on? You can vote in our poll. Text the word ACTION to 39747. We'll share the results on Newsmax TV, Newsmax.com, and with millions of Americans who want to know. Takes just a few seconds, so vote now. Let your voice be heard. Newsmax, real news for real people.